Hello, 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 all of my friends who are joining us for this KidminRoadmap webinar. We're so excited that all of you are here. In fact, we have, if I'm not mistaken, over 1,600 people who have been registered for this call. And so we're really glad that you are here and are one of the many who are joining us to learn more about KidminRoadmap. My name is Julie Pratt. I'm the Director of Children's Discipleship, and I have the joy of being heavily involved in KidminRoadmap and leading it and guiding it, and today to be here to help you understand it more. I want to just kind of start, if I can, with some housekeeping, kind of here's how we're going to let this play out today, kind of guidelines. The biggest is I know so many of you are here with questions, and so I want to say from the outset, this is a webinar, and the best way that you're going to be able to submit those questions so that we can try to answer them is by using that Q&A feature there on Zoom. So from the beginning, you're welcome to post those questions, and we have a team of people who are going to start answering those. And as we get toward the end of this call, I'll do my best to answer some of them live as well. So we're here to answer your questions today. But before we do that, of course, we're going to spend a little time making sure you know all about KidminRoadmap. So the first step that you need to do, if you haven't already, is go to KidminRoadmap.com. And if you don't yet have a login, you should go ahead and set that up. In fact, I would just say go ahead and set that up even now as we're talking. It will really benefit you to be on that site and to be kind of moving through that alongside of us as we discuss this. And maybe even it will bring to mind some questions that you want to ask if we haven't already answered them. So KidminRoadmap.com is the place to go. Go ahead and get logged into that if you do have a login, and that way you can keep up with us as we're talking about this incredible strategy and all of the resources. That's going to be where you find all of the elements we're talking about today. So what is KidminRoadmap? KidminRoadmap is your guide to creating a year-long strategy. It's all about connecting your weekly activities into a powerful discipling force for your kids, parents, and volunteers. Plus, it makes your planning a breeze. It's a strategy you can trust. We've poured over research on kids' discipleship and worked with some amazing kids pastors to develop these 5 key elements that make a kids ministry truly vibrant and holistic. Your Sunday experience is about creating deep and meaningful encounters with God for your kids. Midweek Clubs encourage intergenerational connection through small discipleship groups while engaging in hands-on activities. Parent resources equip you to partner with families because we believe parents are the biggest influence in a child's spiritual development. Leader development resources help you grow a community of volunteers who are passionate about nurturing lifelong followers of Jesus. And discipleship tools help your kids establish the daily habits of following Christ. Next steps are to dive deeper into the 5 elements to help you build a thriving kids ministry. Well, let's get started. I think a great place for us to start today is really to find out where all of you are from. So let's do this. Would you get in that Q&A feature and would you just tell us where you are participating from? Give us your city, state, maybe your church name, and let's just see where all of you have come from. And while you're doing that, I want to take a second and just talk to you about KidminRoadmap as a strategy. What is so important for us to have you understand is KidminRoadmap is not just a curriculum. It's not just a site full of resources. KidminRoadmap is a complete and comprehensive research-based strategy. Among that or built into that are 5 essential elements. And we really believe a holistic, healthy disciple-making children's ministry needs to have all 5 of these elements in the strategy. So, I want to, from the outset, say to you, we really don't think that this is as effective if you only utilize 1 or 2 or even 3 of the pieces of this. To be most effective in making disciples who make disciples, we really believe you need all 5 of these essential elements. So let me very quickly review what those essential elements are. All right. We know Sunday morning is one of the most important pieces of our ministry strategy. We know that's the front door. So many families and kids come into our church on a Sunday morning, and that's the entry point. In fact, we know research tells us a high percentage of families select their church based upon that Sunday morning experience. And so we know how important that is. We also understand how important that's not just a fun time, something that kids love because it's funny or it's full of games, but we also know it needs to be biblically rich. And even more, it needs to be spirit empowered. Not only are they needing to be introduced to the person of the Holy Spirit, but they need to have encounters with the work of the Holy Spirit. So, your Sunday morning experience is critical to the spiritual formation of every kid that walks in the door of your church. Of secondary importance, but incredibly important, is another discipleship location. Now, in our Assembly of God tradition, that is most often on Wednesday nights, right? And so we have titled this second element Midweek Clubs. That can take many forms. But remember, we're leading with the strategy. That is what is most important to us that you understand. So that secondary touch point needs to be relational, discipleship focused, that it is very personal, so that the kids have individual conversations with other kids, with other leaders in their space, and develop these relationships that help aid in discipleship. It's hard to do that on a Sunday morning if we're in this very constrained time that we have. We know parents are like, church is over, let's go. So that second place is really important. All right. The third is something I think all of us know. I don't think any of us uh, are unaware of this need, and that is parent resourcing, helping disciple parents so they can become the primary disciplers of their kids. All of us know that that's biblical. And in fact, many parents who are in the church regularly know that that is their responsibility. The hitch is that they don't know how to do it. And many kids leaders don't know how to help them. But this is such an essential element. In fact, it's so important. I've been in kids ministry for 30 years, and I say, gone are the days when we can say, I'm just a kids pastor. And in my early years of ministry, I did. I said a lot, I'm just a kids pastor. But because of the nature of today's family, we really need to embrace the reality that we are not responsible only for the kids in our ministry, but we're responsible for their family, their parents. The fourth element is leader development. Again, I think all of us know this is an essential part of our ministry for growth, for it to thrive, but we struggle with it. We struggle building a team and getting them trained and a part of what we're doing in ministry. Nevertheless, it needs to happen, and it has an impact on the spiritual formation of the kids in your ministry. And then the last essential element of this strategy are the discipleship tools. And this encompasses a number of things, but one of the most important is the intergenerational element. How important it is for those kids in your children's church to get to know and be a part of the life of the greater church, that they know other adults beyond just their moms and dads, beyond just their kids' leaders that they know from children's church who love Jesus and are serving Jesus, and that they, as kids, are in a growing relationship with other adult believers. And that comes in many forms, but it is an essential element of a total kids ministry strategy. We think all five of these working in tandem together is the sweet spot in ministry right now that is making a difference for the discipleship of kids. And that's what we're in this for, right? We're in this because we want to be part of discipling kids and helping them to become themselves lifelong followers of Jesus. So, how do we implement the strategy and all the resources that Let's talk about the heart of KidminRoadmap with you, the planning calendar. This awesome tool will help you create an amazing year-long strategy for your kids' ministry. We've designed this calendar to be your all-in-one guide for the entire year, making your planning a breeze and ensuring every ministry moment is fun and meaningful while also strategic in discipling your kids. The planning calendar integrates all five key elements of Kidmin Roadmap: the Sunday experience with suggested weekly lessons, midweek clubs for engaging hands-on activities, parent resources to help parents lead spiritually at home, leader development with quarterly volunteer meeting scripts, and discipleship tools for building daily faith habits. Using the planning calendar keeps you organized, saves you time, and ensures a consistent and structured experience for everyone involved. Remember, discipleship happens one moment at a time over time, so every moment matters. Make plans to gather your team and start customizing your plan to make this year unforgettable for your kids' ministry. So somebody has already asked, are we recording this? Yes, absolutely. So if you're a part of this call, you received the registration link, you will, after this webinar is over, you'll get a link so you can go back and watch the replay and sit down with notes if you need to, so you can review it at least a few times if that's what you need. So let's talk about the planning calendar. This is one of the first and essential ways to get started. All right. And you'll see it's sitting here behind me on an easel. I want you to know we have tried to do everything that we can to help you most easily begin and dive into this strategy and the comprehensive family of resources that we have given to you. So we have created a complete calendar. I have a smaller printable version here that you can see. And what we have done is we have taken all of the resources that we're making available to you, and we have given you this recommended place from where you would use it, what you would do with it, when you would do it. Now, it is designed, it's intended to be printed in this large 24 by 36-inch format, if you can. But we did also make it possible for you to do it in these smaller formats, like an 8.5 by 11 even. And I would say that the strength of this is that we have multiple options here. So I'm going to hold all of them up here. We do have the fully filled out, and then we have progressively fewer items in there for you because we want you to be able to customize this to fit your ministry needs. We even have one that is just for 1/4 at a time, if that's the best way for you to plan how to plug it in. I'm just going to quickly highlight a few things on the completely filled out calendar. And I know you can't necessarily see this, but if you go and you look at the calendar, you'll be able to better understand this. But we started our planning in September. I think that's the place that the majority of kids ministries kind of start their new year, right? They'll start from September along with the school year and everything that's a part of that. So that's where we started the recommendations as far as when we do each piece of the element. But again, you have the ability to customize this however you need to for your ministry. So starting here, what you'll see is we've told you when we think you should do each of the Sunday experience sessions. We have given you when we feel like would be a great place to plug in the clubs for each of the ones we'll offer. We've even given you recommendations on when to do the parent resources that we're offering, the discipleship resource, the leader meetings, and all of the other parts and pieces in there. And so this is one of the options for you. Now, we know that we're talking about and talking to a variety of leaders. Some of you are full-time, paid at a church. A lot of you are not, and we know that. And so we were trying to create these resources, these planning calendars with all of you in mind. One of the strengths is maybe you just need a little extra help, and let me get the right one. Extra help in knowing when to do just the extra pieces. You already have your Sunday experience together and you're great. Then you can just use the calendar that says, well, here's where we recommend all of the additional pieces be plugged in. So, what do you do then? I would say go and you will find these on the Start Here tab after you log in and print whichever calendar you think is going to serve you best. And I would personally recommend that you get together some of your team members, your key stakeholders, maybe get a little coffee. That's the one I prefer. Maybe Dr. Pepper is your choice, whatever it is. Sit down together and together with that group of leaders, decide the entire year's plan. It is normal to do a quarterly plan, but can I tell you, the benefit to the entire year being in place is that then all of your ministry time, every bit of prep time, and everything else that you have available to you for your ministry can be devoted to just implementing and investing in your kids, your leaders, and your families. So spend some time together, plot out the entire year's plan, and then you can just begin. This gives you the ability to customize KidminRoadmap to fit your ministry needs. So, we've touched on the strategy. We've showed you how to start planning for your ministry. I'd love for you to look a little closer at some of the resources we're providing to you to support this strategy.
Hey, Kidmin leaders, we know you're passionate about discipling kids, and we're here to help you every step of the way with Kidmin Roadmap. This strategy is simple: 5 essential elements designed to disciple the kids in your ministry. But let's talk about the tools that'll help you bring the strategy all to life. First, the Sunday experience. Alongside the incredible Bible Engagement Project curriculum, you'll get access to a comprehensive set of media assets to make your lessons pop. These tools are designed to capture kids' attention and make Sundays truly unforgettable. For your midweek clubs, everything you need is laid out and ready to go. Each lesson is fully scripted with step-by-step instructions, plus a media kit to help you promote the club. Midweek has never been so easy or exciting. Parents play the most important role in discipleship, and you'll be equipped to support them with resources like the water baptism and navigating the Bible workbooks. These tools are perfect for helping parents lead their kids in faith at home. When it comes to your leadership team, there's something special in store. You'll have access to 4 fully scripted team meetings, like the Kingpin Leader Meeting, designed to help you invest in and grow your leaders. With these resources, leading a team is so straightforward. And for discipleship tools, everything you need is at your fingertips. The AG Kidmin short series covers all 7 dimensions of a spirit-filled disciple, and the intergenerational event kit helps bring generations together to worship and pray, connecting kids with God on a deeper level. These resources are designed to help you deploy the Kidmin Roadmap strategy. And remember, these are just the highlights. There's even more waiting for you as you dive into KidminRoadmap.com. Explore, implement, and watch your ministry thrive as you make disciples of the next generation.
All right, I think we're getting close to our Q&A time. So I want to remind you again that if you have questions, and I think a lot of you have already started posting those questions in there, so thank you for that. But this is your reminder. If you do have questions that I can answer, go ahead and drop that in the Q&A feature there at the bottom in the Zoom feature. And some of our team is trying to answer those in live time, but also I'll be able to answer some of them for you. You know, we have had a group of churches who have begun using the resources on Kidmin Roadmap. This was launched in June. And so some churches were ready and jumped on board immediately. And so, of course, we have already started to hear feedback from those various churches and leaders as they have begun using the various pieces of the Kidmin Roadmap resources that we've been providing. I'd love to show you what some of those individuals have been saying about Kidmin Roadmap.
Hi, I'm Katie Maciel, Next Gen Director at Victory City Church. I love the Kidmin Roadmap strategy and everything it provides for kids and discipleship. But I have to say, my favorite part are the discipleship tools. The Kidmin shorts, especially, have been super powerful for our kids, teaching them how to read the Bible, how to pray, how to worship, how to be generous, and apply it to their daily lives beyond just the four walls of our church.
Okay, here, and I'm so excited for the Kidmin Roadmap, especially the midweek clubs. They will change your life. You don't want to miss this opportunity to access these 8-week clubs.
My favorite part about Kidmin Roadmap, my favorite piece
One of my favorite pieces of Kidmin Roadmap.
The thing that I love most.
is the strategy. I love the intentional look at how we're discipling kids. It's the intergenerational night of worship.
Are the leadership and development resources. The truth is, you can't have great ministry without a great team.
It's a resource for the parents. There's something there to be able to equip and empower the parents to be able to disciple their kids. Oh my goodness, you're going to love them. Your kids are going to love them. Your leaders are going to love them. Use them on Wednesday nights or any other time to disciple your kids with the Bible engagement project is the Bible portion. Check out the Midweek Club.
It's a super powerful tool and you should definitely use it.
I love that. I love what those leaders are saying. Of course, I'm biased. I am passionate about Kidmin Roadmap, but those are some incredible leaders who have had the opportunity to use it lifetime in their ministries. And so what they have to say really means a lot to all of us, I think. So I hope that that helps you get a little bit more of a picture of what we're talking about. All right, let me remind you once again, we want to lead with the strategy. All 5 of those elements are so important for your ministry. A Sunday experience, especially one that's engaging, but is also biblically rich and spirit empowered. Some secondary discipleship touch point that's very relational. And for us, that looks like clubs, midweek clubs. And I'll even say Rangers, Royal Rangers, and girls' ministries too, right? That is a relational mentoring discipleship opportunity. And that is a really essential part of the strategy. 3, parent resourcing, helping parents to sit in the seat of the primary discipler of their kids in their spiritual formation. The spiritual formation of kids will always be impacted by parents. As the world is trying to say that their impact and influence is diminishing, but it's just not true. So, 3rd, 4th is leader development, and then the 5th are the discipleship tools. We think all 5 of those need to be in your ministry. So, All right. I think that we're ready to start answering some questions. I see some of them starting to roll toward me. And so I'm going to just start to reply to them. I'll tell you what it is I'm answering and give you a reply to that as best I can. So if you're ready, team, are we ready? All right, let's go. All right. This first one is a great question. Somebody is familiar with Bible Engagement Project and realizes that it is 40 weeks of content. So, what do we do with that? I'm glad you asked. All right. So, here's a couple of things that we're doing. One is, as kids pastors, we realize that Christmas and Easter are two incredibly important seasons for us in our ministry. And so, looking at Bible Engagement Project, which does in some places discuss Christmas and Easter or have Christmas like lessons, we still decided that one of the best ways we could serve you was to write a Christmas series and an Easter series. And so, we will be providing those to you to plug into those two seasons. So this year, Christmas has, or December has 5 weeks in it. So this year's Christmas series will have 5 lessons in it. So that's one of the things that we're going to do to fill the gap. The other is kind of a multitude of recommendations because we believe so strongly in a couple of these things. One, I want to make sure you know, and if you don't know, you should be made aware that Boys and Girls Missionary Challenge, BGMC, has in their Google Drive, and maybe one of the team members can drop a link for you. They have a series of 12 service scripts, sermon scripts that they have written to help you promote Boys and Girls Missionary Challenge or BGMC in your services. So we recommend that you get into that Google Drive folder, that you access those scripts, and that you purposefully plug those into your planning calendar. All right. That's one thing. The other is for like a fifth Sunday or other times like that, we really believe it's important, especially for the elementary age kids, to get into the main service and worship alongside of the adults in your church. And that's another recommendation that we have. And then, of course, we realize in kids ministry, there's going to be times where you may not have a service, or it may be VBS, like Mega Sports Camp or something else that takes place of that week. And honestly, that's why we recommend that you plan the entire year, because those will become evident as you're planning, and you'll realize this is a week where it's going to be used for some other purpose, and we will have known that ahead of time and been ready for it. So that's how we're helping you with those gaps. Christmas, when will it come out? At this point, what I can tell you is we think it'll be within a few weeks. It should be early fall. We want to make sure to give it to you with plenty of time for you to get into it and be prepared to use it when Christmas arrives, which is going to be soon. Someone asked about the measurements of the planning calendar behind me. That is printed on a 24 by 36-inch poster size. And you could print that at a local print shop. You can upload it to some of your more preferred design sites that will do printing straight from the site. But remember, you are also able to print it on your church printer as well. All right. Do the midweek clubs coincide with the Sunday lessons? This is one of the things I love about the midweek clubs. So they are written fully scripted and do have Bible Engagement Project Bible lesson material inside with stories and pieces from the scripture that directly align with the subject. So, for instance, a cooking lesson might have something about the loaves of bread and the fish. That might be how we tie it together. However, because of the way that they're designed, they're flexible in format. So we know of some churches who have already started using the clubs who've decided that they're going to use the opportunity to repeat, repeat, repeat. We know how important that is in kids ministry, right? And so in their planning for their Sunday, they've chosen to save some of the elements that are in their Sunday script and insert them in place of the written content that has been there. So you have options. Certainly, I love them as written, and with the way that the Bible content connects directly to the activity, that's an interest-based activity, is really strong. But you know your church, you know your audience, and you know your needs, and you can do any number of things. All right. I see the calendar goes with listen. We're almost finished with listen. Okay, so here is how we would recommend you handle that. We know that there are individuals who were using Bible Engagement Project before Kidmin Roadmap launched. So let me remind you that this is a year-long strategy with the comprehensive family of resources to support it. What that means is for this year, we have provided all of the resources that go along with listen. That means then each year after this, we will be providing the next year's recommended resources. So in June of 2025, we'll give all of the media theming assets for learn and so on and so forth. And so, as far as if you are already using Bible Engagement Project, our recommendation would be remember first that it's about the strategy, those 5 elements, and we would say go ahead and continue moving forward in Bible Engagement Project from where you are. As far as the calendar goes, how you can still use it, my recommendation would be to go and locate either the blank year-long calendar or the quarterly calendar and use it to plan with whichever BEP, Bible Engagement Project, that you are in, and then the additional resources. It doesn't eliminate you from using Kidmin Roadmap even now, all right? Let's see, what else have we seen? Let me move there. Oh, they're coming at me. A question about when other midweek curriculums will be available. All right, that's a great question as well about clubs. So again, because we're giving this to you 1 year's strategy worth of resources at a time, you will see that there are 5 clubs listed in that category, and that's about 40 weeks worth of clubs if you're doing one at a time. Our intent is to release about 5 a year for just about 3 years. So about a total of 15 clubs. Now, unlike some of the other areas where you might see a refresh and the previous resources go away so that we can give you the current year's resources, clubs will be a growing library of resources. And that's because you can do cooking this year, and then maybe in another year or in 18 months, you want to go back and offer cooking again. So that will be a growing group of clubs, but it's going to be released in about a 5 per year increment for a couple years here in a row. All right. Let's see. What else have you been asking? I love the new themes for elementary. Will there be an update to the preschool curriculum? All right, here's how we're answering this. Preschool is essentially able to use the visual elements of Kidmin Roadmap just as much as in the elementary. So let me explain what I mean by that. You can go and access those countdown timers, those bumper videos, the social media graphics, and you can use them to represent and even in both your pre-K and elementary spaces. But here's where the strength is. Preschool does have their own teaching scripts and teaching videos, and you're still able to utilize those alongside of the new theming that is being made available through Kidmin Roadmap. So for theming updates, that's not going to be done at least real soon, but I would just say go and access what is made available through Listen and use them in all of your spaces and on all of your social platforms. Let's see. When will other club curriculums be available? Okay, so there are a few that say coming soon. And that's because These projects take time. So we have 3 that are released and available for you to download today. We have 2 that are set for coming soon. And I can just say to you, they're coming very soon. I cannot give you an exact date when they're going to be live and available. They are in the final stages of their process as far as what we need to do internally to be sure they're ready to be released. And we're working hard to have those out and available to you as soon as possible. So I would recommend you start using the 3 that are there. All of the parts and pieces are live, and keep your eye on that particular tab or on our social media. And we'll be sure to tell you when those are using it, or excuse me, when those are available. Someone says, can you point us to some churches using this so we can connect with them to help them understand? So, yes, one of the best places that I can recommend you go to do that is actually on the website. If you'll go to the homepage and you'll scroll down, you'll see like a sliding deck of testimonials from churches and leaders who are using Kidmin Roadmap materials. And you're welcome to reach out to them and just hear what they're thinking and how they're implementing it, what it looks like in their particular setting. And they can certainly give you a lot of feedback about how it's working. The other recommendation I want to give to you is if you haven't yet joined the Kidmin Roadmap Facebook group, Kidmin Roadmap Community, I think is what it's called, you definitely need to get in there because there is already a lot of activity in there. Other leaders are posting how they're using the content, how it's going, how it's working, how it's being received. And that's a great place for you to go to just glean and read, or even to post and ask your questions from other leaders so they can answer. We use ProPresenter. Are the files able to upload to ProPresenter? 100% yes. We understand the kinds of needs that you have. Those media assets come to you in many ways so that you can use it if you're a ProPresenter user or maybe one of the other presentation softwares. We do have animations. We have still images. They're high quality. We even have, if you're a church that does this, we even have lower thirds for you. Come on now. We're providing for your needs. So yes, short answer is yes. I noticed, let's see. Oh, yes. So the clubs, are these gender specific or are they co-ed? We have written every one of these clubs specifically to be uh, gender co-ed. There we go. That's what they to be co-ed. All right. Because we know not every church is in a place yet that they're able to split up and do gender specific ministry. And we just think that boys like to cook like girls like to cook, and girls like to do outdoor adventures like boys like to do outdoor adventures. So everything is written so that it can be used in a co-ed setting. That said, they can certainly also be used in a gender specific way. And that's up to you and how you choose to implement those. Maybe you do 2 at a time and you just divide the boys and the girls. And then maybe you flip it after those 8 weeks are done and they go to the other club. So there's a few ways that you can do that. Someone is using the Foundations for Faith series. Did you know that on the Bible Engagement Project site app is a kids series on Foundations of Faith? First of all, let me just make sure you do. If you don't, you need to go to the app. It's BibleEngagementProject.com, and you need to go in and you will see it's in all of the age groups. Of course, we're talking about the kids ministry area. You will see a section called Foundations for Faith. It's an excellent series. It's a standalone series. And in fact, side note, that would also be a really great tool for you to use to do in those gap. If you have 40 weeks worth and you want to put in a few more weeks or all of it and plan accordingly, Foundations is there. But this person is saying, I'm in the middle of that. Would you recommend that I switch over to Kidmin Roadmap starting in September? Here's the thing. You can do whatever works best for you. I personally would not stop midstream on the Foundation series because it's so excellent. So my recommendation would be do what works in your ministry. Finish Foundations of Faith and plan accordingly to begin the Kidmin Roadmap material immediately after you're done with that, and just roll right on into the next set of uh, series, if you will. All right. Someone else asked about when do I best start this? You start this whenever you want to. I just had a conversation with a group of leaders last night, and many of them were planning to begin in January. That's great. That's where using the blank calendar and plugging it in as best fits your ministry is going to benefit you, serve you well. So it is not essential that you start September with everything. It is most important that you plan what works for you. That you, in fact, I think the important is that you plan the entire year from whatever starting point that you start, and then you'll know when it's time to roll on to the next things. Can scripts be printed and edited? Hallelujah. Yes, they can. I know as a kids pastor, when I would download curriculum and it was in a form that was not editable, I would have to get my black marker out. And maybe I'm just showing myself here. I would go on it and be like, we're not doing that part, or we're going to move that here. And it was frustrating, right? So, yes, it's printable and it's editable. So you can download those in a Word document. You can edit those. You can do what you need to do to make it work for you, and then print it or save it digitally and disseminate that to your team in whatever way that you traditionally supply those scripts and materials to your group of leaders that are helping you in kids ministry. Let me see. What else do we have on here for questions? How can we get people in the church to help serve in kids ministry? Listen, that is a whole webinar on its own. But my answer to you first is I would recommend that you go to the leader development section of KidminRoadmap, that you watch the videos, that you use some of the tools that we have made available to you to help you in this particular area. We get it, man. My heart feels it. I can hear it even through the Q&A screen, how that is. So that's my first recommendation to you. And then, of course, there is a lot that can go along and into that conversation. And we just aren't able to do all of that right now. What makes KidminRoadmap different from other curriculum? Great question. I'm just going to say this. I know that there are some other curriculum options out there that are centered upon a strategy. I understand that, and I know many of you probably are using them. So I'm going to say that what makes this different is that it's biblically rich and it is spirit empowered. We have in our hands an opportunity when we're ministering with kids. We have some research. If I can just put my educator's hat on for a moment, we have research that is saying that up to the age of 10 is the sweet spot for kids who are regularly attending church. And by that, I mean, that's the place in which they establish their convictions. That's the place that they make decisions for lifelong faith. And so, if that's the case, then we want to maximize every minute because every minute matters. It's the individual moments that turn into discipleship with kids. And so we don't want to spend that time just prioritizing fun or just prioritizing engagement, but we really, really want to spend that time helping our kids have an authentic encounter with the Holy Spirit, with God, our Father, with Jesus. And so what I think is so beautiful about KidminRoadmap and what is so beautiful about Bible Engagement Project is that is the commitment, that is the focus, and is something you can trust. Now, here's why that matters. Because too many of us have so many things on our plate That if you go and select another curriculum that's not biblically rich, and even more if you select one that's not spirit empowered, you might not have the time to review it, to vet it, to do that necessary editing to be sure that you're actually teaching what we believe and know to be so important. And in doing that and presenting that curriculum, you're giving your kids a short message of the gospel. You're giving to your kids, I would say you're shortchanging them. And so we would just tell you that in today's day and age, knowing today's kids, today's families, one of the best things you can do is to use a biblically rich, spirit empowered strategy and these resources to be sure that you're not wasting those moments that really make a difference in the disciple making process of the kids and the families in your ministry. All right, let's see. We have just a few more minutes. Okay. Is this available in Spanish? Thank you for asking that question. All right. So let me be clear. First of all, Bible Engagement Project is available in Spanish. And I will say to you, we are working on, but haven't been able to fully release all of the media elements in Spanish. But we are working actively on that and hope that all of that media will be released and available to you in Spanish soon. And again, I'm sorry, I can't give you an exact date. I can just tell you that we are working on that actively. So it's not just a wish list item, but it is something that we are doing. That said, the other pieces of roadmap are not in Spanish. And so I know that is a piece that is hard for some of you who really would like it in Spanish. I'm sorry that I can't help you with that at this time. That is something we desire to do, and hopefully we can come back around in the future and do all of the translations. So every piece on Kidmin Roadmap is available in Spanish as well as English. But we are not there at this time. So there's an honest answer to you on that one. All right. Help me understand the relationship between Bible Engagement Project and Kidmin Roadmap. That's a great question as well. Listen, we are a family and we have incredible resources at our fingertips. So, when as a team, we first sat down and started dreaming about Kidmin Roadmap, and we started to really discuss what are those essential elements of the strategy: Sunday, midweek, parent resourcing, leader development, intergenerational, and other discipleship tools. We knew those were the 5 essential things. The next piece to that conversation was what exists to support those. And clearly, Bible Engagement Project was already in existence and it was well done. It is all the things we wanted it to be, except for some of the media. And so we went to the Bible engagement team and said, let's partner. And so what we have done is said, first, remember, it's about the strategy. Lead with the strategy. Assess your ministry. Where are you on each of those 5 things? And then we've said, now, once you've identified the gaps, here are our recommended resources. So Bible Engagement Project is our recommended resource for your Sunday experience. Bible Engagement Project pre-existed us. And so we couldn't just say, let's put it all on our site. So what we have done on our website is say, here's the recommended resource. Here's where you need to go to access all of it. So Bible Engagement Project and Kidmin Roadmap are absolutely in partnership together. So the way I recommend people handle that is your first stop is KidminRoadmap.com. And depending upon which of those 5 elements you're needing to work on at any given time, you'll go to that tab and access it. So if Sunday experience is what you're working on, you'll go there and it will open a second tab, get you to Bible Engagement Project so that you can gain what you need for your Sunday experience. Another question that came up about the relationship with Girls Ministries and Royal Rangers. And let me be very clear with you. We believe in those ministries. I'm a Kidmin, right? I have spent years with Rangers and Girls Ministries. So again, I'm going to say, I feel like a broken record. It's about the strategy. You need that Sunday experience, a midweek relational discipleship experience, parent resourcing, leader development, and discipleship tools. So, what I keep telling people is if you are doing Royal Rangers and girls' ministries, you are accomplishing that essential element of that strategy. And I would say do it and do it well, right? Because that's what this is about. So, Royal Rangers and girls' ministries aren't going anywhere. In fact, we are in partnership with them as well. But we also know there's a group of our churches who are just not in that place yet for whatever reason. And so we wanted to provide clubs as another place and another way to get that second of the 5 elements in your strategy. There's a lot of ways you can use that. It can even be done in tandem with girls' ministries and rangers. We do, in fact, have a church that does this. They have girls' ministries and rangers, a thriving program, but they identified that they had what we would, I guess, refer to as fringe families, right? Those families who were kind of Sunday only and not coming on Wednesday nights. And so they have begun to use those clubs as an on ramp for those families to start coming on Wednesday nights. And as they're becoming more faithful, then they're intentional to have the conversations that say, hey, we have this next level club that your son or your daughter might really enjoy. We'd love to introduce you to this next step that might be the fit for your family. So there's a lot of ways that you can utilize these clubs, but yes, girls ministries, rangers, critical piece of this strategy, and it can be very very well used inside this strategy. We're running down to the end of the line here. I think we've answered a lot of the questions that have been sent my way. Are there any that I still need to kind of address? I'm rolling through. Oh, I forgot one really important one. How much does this cost? Free. It's free. It's totally free. It will not cost you to utilize this. And can I be clear with that? This isn't a bait and switch. This isn't in a year, we're going to start asking you to pay a subscription fee. This will be free and will remain free forever. We don't have any intention of charging for this. This is a commitment that we've made in KidminRoadmap, just like it has been made alongside of Bible Engagement Project, because we believe there should be no barriers or roadblocks to excellent discipleship for your local church. All you need to do is create that login, and that just helps people to gain access to all of the free resources. And so get that login created, go in and start downloading those resources for free. And we invite you to use them and let us know how that's going for you. Well, I am coming to the end of the line here. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. So here's what I want to say to you on that. If I didn't get to your question, or one of our team members didn't get to your question, we want to invite you to reach out to our team at KidminRoadmap support@ag.org. Let me say that again. I'll say it slower. KidminRoadmap support@ag.org. You'll have a team of people at that email address who can do their best to answer questions for you, help you further understand what this is, how you can implement it. And we want to pray God's blessings over your ministry. It's such a privilege to get to spend some time with you this afternoon. We believe in KidminRoadmap. We believe that this is going to change the face of ministry to children and families across the United States, and we really think around the world. So we're here for you. Connect on our AG Kidmin socials, on Bible Engagement Project socials, on the KidminRoadmap community, and on Instagram. And let's stay connected as you begin to implement this strategy for ministry in your church.